The government will today set out its plan to ban the distribution and sale of plastic straws, drink stirrers and cotton buds. The Environment Minister Therese Coffey joins us now from Westminster. Minister, lovely to see you. Very good morning to you. I suppose we should point out that this is the start of the consultation period. We have 6 weeks for the public and other interested organisations to make their views heard. But what exactly are you proposing?
We're looking to phase out the sale of these particular items. We have an overall target to try and remove avoidable waste by 2025 when it comes to plastics, and this is a good start. We've already seen consumers make the change, we're starting to see manufacturers make the change, but we think it's important to make sure that unless people really need a plastic straw or other things, then we should basically take them out of circulation in this country.
Yeah, just to pick up on what you mentioned there, that some people, there are actually good practical uses for having plastic straws. One of our paper reviewers this morning pointing out the fact that actually for some disabled people, you know, a plastic straw is an essential item.
That's right, and that's been at the forefront of our thinking about how we support people with disabilities or other medical needs for plastic straws, and that's why we refer to that in our consultation today as potential exemptions. But the overall reason why we're trying to do this is unfortunately too much plastic gets into our rivers and streams, which ends up in the oceans, and that has a real problem with marine wildlife, and that's one of the driving forces behind today.
I have to say, not that I spend most of my times in bars and pubs, but it is becoming increasingly difficult to actually find places which will just, as a matter of course, offer you a straw with your drink. Do we need to be so censorious? Do we need to change the law rather than simply try and persuade people and organisations to follow your lead?
I think that we still need to take that positive action. I recognise people are starting to make the habit change. I've been pushing on this for over a year now, writing to leading pub companies to try and get them to change. You know, dare I say, at one point in Westminster I was known as the straw snatcher, just simply to try and get people to recognise they don't need these straws. Of course, as I say, there are some exemptions. So there's still this challenge, I think, around the country. We're starting to see some other retailers of fast food outlets starting to make that change. But this will give emphasis and momentum to make sure that we come up with the appropriate research to get better straws for people that still need them, but also the other challenges of simply saying, do we really need to have this plastic in our lifestyle? The answer is no, we don't.
The straw snatcher. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to remember that for our next interview, Minister. But just in terms of the time scale and all of this, clearly there is a need for us to act as quickly as possible. Couldn't we get this done a bit earlier than October 2019, October 2020, which seems to be the proposal?
Well, I think that we really want to hear very detailed submissions, particularly from those who are seeking medical exemptions and other kinds of exemptions that may be necessary. So we want to get this right. Quite often we've got away from the habit, hopefully, of rushing into legislation, which then doesn't work properly. I think this is a clear signal of direction that we want to see an end to plastic straws, stirrers and cotton buds. But I think that it's appropriate that we take the necessary time to get the right legislation.